What's going on, YouTube? JT's Reborn here, and welcome back to the edition of my DC comic book reviews, also my Conjuring reviews, with a review of The Conjuring The Lover, issue number 4 of 5. After this issue, I'll be all caught up with my whole Conjuring The Lover comic book reviews. So, I've covered every movie in the Conjuring universe, and now I guess every comic. I don't think they've released any other comics outside of this one, but yeah, here we are, finally. I was a little behind on this series, but I'm ready to kind of catch up, and by the time the final issue comes out, I think next week, then I'll be good to go. But anyways, so this one's written by the same people who have written the main issues all before. They also were the screenwriters of the Conjuring film. We pick up right after the events of the last one, which kind of is similar, has a similar opening to what happened in, what is it, issue 3, where Katie was with her one roommate, and they're kind of dealing with the aftermath of her, basically like with the knife attempting to kill her, but she never went through with it. Here, she thought she attacked the occultist, but she really pushed Kyle out of the way. And then Kyle's like, no, never mind. She's like, I didn't mean to, Kyle, I'm so sorry. He's like, stay away from me, psycho. She's like, she made me do it, I swear. And so basically, after the second incident of her being reported like this, she gets expelled from the school. She's crying, she's having a breakdown. Everyone's just awful to this poor girl. I mean, you really feel sympathy for this character. Like, she's just been dealt a really shitty hand in life, and all because of this psycho bitch, the occultist, and her disciples of the Ram cults and her evil totem and shit. For whatever reason, she wants to summon this demon because she's evil and stuff. But anyways, her dad comes to pick her up. He's really understanding of her, and he takes her home. The mom is noticeably pissed, like all that money completely wasted, all this time wasted, and you also can hear like her being kind of watched. After she kind of goes into her room, you can really feel kind of the sadness of it all. And then, of course, the occultist and her evil minions or whatever that's possessing is kind of watching over her, and she just wants to kind of be left alone. If only she knew the Warrens in time. Obviously, if you've seen the movie, you know what kind of happens here. So her father just comes in there, kind of gives her the much needed comfort because she's having a breakdown. She's like, nobody really understands what's happening with her, and he's like, wait, why don't you go talk to your one friend, Katie? And she's like, you know what? That's a great idea. So Jess goes ahead and gives her a call. It kind of gives her some encouragement because obviously she has really strong feelings for Katie. So then she goes, and then she goes to meet him at the spot. The dad's there with some encouragement. You can still see the shadowy figures kind of in the backgrounds there watching over her because the occultist is crazy. Katie pops out and scares her. They do share their little romantic kiss moment, and then she morphs into the occultist, at least from Jessica's point of view. She sees her as this because, Katie doesn't see her because it's only in her head right now that the occultist has control over. And basically, she pulls out a knife and she stabs the hell out of her, but it's tragically revealed to be Katie, her friend, which if you've seen the movie, you know, but this kind of goes more into it when Lorraine was kind of like investigating the disappearance of the girl, and she kind of lives the whole thing out in her perspective. So I definitely recommend checking out the movie at this point, but this really kind of dives more into it and really makes you feel sympathetic for the character, which we didn't really have much touched on in the movie outside of the Warrens kind of doing some investigating and trying to figure out where the body is and where the occultist is and all that. But yeah, it is a really sad, tragic ending to this thing. And of course, like it's inevitably going to be, or I don't know how issue 5 will per se end, if it's just gonna just be exactly what's in the movie, or if it's gonna kind of get a little bit of an aftermath of the events of it all. Maybe there's kind of, you know, some semblance of good that kind of comes from all this. I don't know, or if it's just going to lead exactly right into the movie. So you have to watch The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It to kind of get the rest of it all. But yeah, it's really sad, tragic ending, especially seeing after all that Jessica's been through in the last couple issues. Like you really feel bad for this girl, and it really makes you want to spit on the screen with that bitch, the occultist. Yes, I'm calling her an evil bitch because, well, she is. If you've seen the movie, it's okay. She's evil. She's a satanic worshiping monster. So, but I also like the little ads here in the comic. There, like with bath time with Bathsheba and Tubby. Like I loved a little bit there because Annabelle and Valak, the mysteries. I would love a goofy little like just look at Valak there. I mean, if you've seen the movies, it just kind of makes me laugh. Astonishing Exorcist from the Iron Priest and all that, but Annabelle and Valak mysteries like the TV show sounds like a hilarious time, and I'm kind of all for it. If they can make some dark demented show based on it, I think that'd be really funny. Anyway, so the last story is actually pretty like dark, and well, I mean, a lot of pretty much all these stories have like dark, uh, horrifying endings of kind of all of it. No real shocking twist or anything like that in this issue, but we have the story of the musical box that we saw in the Warrens' place. And basically, with the music box, we have this woman who's just kind of like mourning the loss of her infant daughter, and then she also had played this song for her, and then she sees into this music box, and in it, we see how the husband had like killed the baby, and then, or at least that's what the evil spirit that's in the music box is telling her to say, and then so she goes and confronts the husband about it, and then he hits her, which makes you think, did he really go and do that, or is that just something the evil spirit's trying to say? It really is possible that he did. I'm not entirely 100% sure if it's. I mean, I feel like it's kind of up for interpretation. So anyways, she goes and she butchers him, and then she plays her little song kind of at the end there, and you see kind of the evil clown and the figure inside the mirror. And yeah, so that one was written by Ray Fox, art by Christopher Mitten. And yeah, that's kind of the end of that story right there. Issue 4 was quite a strong issue, all things considered. You're really kind of feeling for Jessica as a character at this point. Pretty much everything around her is just kind of falling apart. And she really didn't do anything. She was just kind of living her life, and she was unfortunately targeted by that bitch, the occultist, that evil, sadistic monster who, if you've seen The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, you know why. You just want to just like, ugh. I mean, she's so creepy in that movie, and like you just really kind of like despise her a bit. At this point, this like just torturing this poor girl, and just kind of everything that goes wrong for her, and you really feel bad. It's like, I mean, can you imagine that, just being in love with somebody, and then you think you're doing one thing, and it reminds me a bit of Superman in the Injustice video games, where like he was tragically like was like hit with fear gas, and he thought he was fighting somebody, but he really just accidentally kills Lois Lane. That's really got to mess with somebody's head, and it just, at that point, what do you do? So yeah, I thought issue 4 was quite a strong issue, probably the strongest of the bunch so far, and it leaves you on a bit of a strong cliffhanger going into issue 5. Part of me almost wishes like all these issues came out before Conjuring 3, so I can be in suspense of what's happening. But I feel like everything's just going to kind of end right where the movie kind of ends, unless there will be kind of like, I kind of hope there's an epilogue at that point, because this issue is coming out way after the release of the movie. So yep, with that said, I am all caught up with the reviews on The Conjuring The Lover. I was only 3 behind, all things considered. I thought I had to review 4, but like, wait a minute, I reviewed the first one already. So now I can kind of file a lot of these away and be prepared for when the final issue drops and get that review out for all of you. I think it's going to come out next week. So yeah, I got these reviews up. I got another review I'm posting kind of right after this. So be prepared for all that, I suppose. And I got the Robin comic book review, which is coming out tomorrow at the time I'm uploading this thing. So look forward to that. And then I got, after this, I'm trying to post a Godzilla comic book review so I can get that done and out of the way. And then I'll be all caught up in time for new comic book week this week. So I got the Robin book. I think I got Detective Comics, and I think I have the new Deathstroke book. And I'm also going to have to kind of look into covering some more Fear State stuff. But, I mean, that's for people who are interested in my DC Comics stuff. If you're just interested in the Conjuring horror stuff, then I'm all caught up with that stuff, too, here. And if you want to hear my thoughts on all the Conjuring stuff, I do have a playlist on the channel for all my Conjuring reviews, and that includes the comics and the movies and just anything else in regards to the franchise. So I think maybe after this, I'll go and do a ranking video on the entire series. So I don't know what they're going to do next for the Conjuring universe, but I'm enjoying these horror stories. It feels like a nice change of pace for me in terms of covering stuff on the channel. So, all right, well, that's all I got to say. As always, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you all so much for watching this. Take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.